All right, guys, welcome to this interview. You'll see here I have Shaun with me. I was just messing saying that I'm going to hype Shaun up here. So let me give you the rundown, right? Shaun started working with me a good few months ago now, but it's really only in the last couple of months where things have really gone incredibly well for Shaun. Him and his business partner, James, have scaled incredibly fast. They got 7 clients in 2 months, which, like, for anybody who's starting off an agency, that's phenomenal. Like, that's not that common. So he's going to be kind of just sharing like what he's done, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what's kind of gotten him to this point. Like most of you watching, he's tried other stuff. This isn't his first rodeo. He's thought about making money online before, got into other things, and now he's here. So, Shaun, hopefully that gives people a good idea of just what you've done so far. We'll dive deeper into that now, but I guess, man, do you want to just give people an insight into how you actually came across social media marketing? Like, when did that even start for you?
Yeah, I suppose it was actually a long time ago, really. Like many people, I was interested in making money online for such a length of time. I tried my hand at trading. I even had a company where I bought a lot of phone cases and chargers and stuff from China and tried to sell them on. And I tried my hand at loads of different things. So I definitely always had the mindset to make money sort of online. But I originally bought the 6FA course and I was literally done some of the videos, got some great value out of it, and just never went back to it. And then my life sort of went a lot of different ways since then. And it was only when I sort of got the sort of path clear to me to give this another bash, I really went deep with it, and
Mhm.
we're here now.
Yeah, yeah, it's super interesting, Sean, because I did an interview with Ross, who you would have met at the mastermind event. And Ross had the exact same story, as in he bought the program maybe 2 years ago at this point. For whatever reason, maybe just the timing where he was at in life, it just, he went through the content and went, cool, that's great. But he didn't go and take action on it right away. And then obviously he came back, and sure, now he's doing incredibly well as well. So it's an interesting how that happens, man. But I guess what kind of led you back to it then, right? Knowing that you started and then came back.
Yeah, so like I'd left my job. I was working in a sales job with another couple of guys,
Mm-hmm.
and we walked out. We had a fight with the boss. We walked out of the job, and we said, right, we're going to make it. We were messing around with AI already in the job. We were staying back after working hours, and we were trying to build out an agency that basically creates video sales letters
Mm-hmm.
for companies. So we were trying to figure that out. A lot of us, and the AI wasn't. It's there now. To be fair, it's there now, and you can do that now. But at the time, it wasn't because obviously it's moving so fast. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we went and we tried. The four of us were working together. There was too many chefs in the kitchen. There was a lot of clash of personalities, and time went on. We were making some money here and there, but not enough for that to be worth staying together. So we went our separate ways, and when we went our separate ways, I knew I still had that course, and I was like, and I was already looking at the course when we were doing our own thing, but again, no one like there was too many people trying to influence what we were to do next. So
Mm-hmm.
the stuff I was putting forward always wasn't maybe listened to as such. But when I was on my own, then with my business partner, we went through the course again, and we knew that basically this would fast track us to doing what we want to do. So we started to deep dive into the 6FA and eventually then went on to the 7FA. And that's when we really started to take off.
Solid, man. And I'd love to get your thoughts on this, Sean. Like, so for most people who, are in this kind of discovery phase of which online business do I start? Like, that's a long phase. As you know, you could spend bloody months, years looking at different things, trading, drop shipping, e-commerce. There's 100 options out there, right? Looking back now, I guess knowing what you know now, having built an agency that's doing very well, like, I guess what advice would you give to that person as to why you think this, I guess, this space, this kind of industry is probably one that they should consider?
I think you just have to look at the business model because it's there's a lot of different ways of making money online, of course. And you mentioned there trading. Like trading is great if you're looking at, say, a guy that has the Lambo and the watch, and he's in the yacht in Dubai, and it's like, look what me, I'm making 20K a day and all, but like that's not how that works at all. Like so, like
Hmm. Hmm.
you have to have money to make money in trading. So
Hmm.
for first of all, so that's not a smart business sort of method to go straight in. And I just think in terms of social media marketing, I think it's the entry barrier is quite low
Hmm.
compared to other avenues. Like you can literally you don't need any money, right? You can literally send DMs on DM for on Instagram for free, or you can send emails for free. Like it's
Hmm.
the entry barrier is so low, and the risk to reward is sort of so high. So it's I think for me it's a no brainer. It's a no brainer.
Hmm.
I've tried my hand at a lot of stuff, and a lot of the stuff is a lot more complex. Like we all, people don't realize it, but we all consume content on social media, and so already you know a bit about the industry. You mightn't think it,
Yeah.
but you might be engaging with trends that are on Instagram, and you like a certain trend on TikTok, and like it's you're already a little bit. Everyone knows already a little bit about the industry before they've even thought about making money through it. So then all of a sudden, when you go through the avenue of making money through it, you realize you're a lot further ahead than you think. And I think for other business models, I don't think that's the case at all. I think usually you go down a road of realizing you don't know anything. But with social media marketing, you kind of go down a road where like you realize you know more than you thought. So I think that's
And
one huge thing.
massive, massive, man. Like you said, it's like everybody's on their phone anyway. You know what I mean? You're literally watching other people who have created social media content all day anyway. So why not just look at it with a little bit of a different perspective and instead of just being, consumed by that viral video, starts to think, why did that go viral? What caught my attention? Like, why did I stop and sit here for 30 seconds when before I was just scrolling? It's just a very subtle little switch. Great point, man. Because like you said, if you're starting trading, unless you, I don't know, studied finance maybe in college, you probably don't know anything about the financial markets. But social media, you're on it every day.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a great point as well, man. Look, we won't go too deep on like the, trading, Forex, all that kind of stuff. But look, you got to go with a business model that logically makes sense. If a guy's on a yacht making 20K a day doing trades and you could copy those trades, you start to put the question marks together and go, right, well, does that actually make sense? Can he make 20K every day? Does he have days where he loses 100K, 50K in a trade? Of course. Can you afford to lose that? No, you definitely can't if you're starting off.
And another a point I suppose I'd like to add there as well, and I don't want to just plug the community and stuff like that, but we're talking here. So if you look inside the sort of the 6FA and the 7FA community and you look at the attendees of the two events that came, yeah, how diverse was it? And how diverse was all the members? It's crazy. Like there's guys that are in the group that are 60 years of age that are now
Yeah.
doing this. There was a guy at the event someone in the event that was 16 at the
Yeah.
first event. The
Yeah.
last event there was someone there that was 17. Then you have like guys like me that are in their mid 20s. Like
Hmm.
it's and everyone like they're so different. Everyone is so different like to each other. And it just goes to show that like anyone can try their hand at this. So I mean
Definitely.
it's not too far too far fetched
Hmm.
as like a trade in or these type of avenues.
100%. 100%, man. And like that barrier being low, it is a great thing because it also means that there's going to be a lot of people who see something like social media marketing and put in the least amount of effort possible, expecting great results, which is good for the person who's serious because the person who's serious then can absolutely obliterate that competition and come in and within a few weeks get to a point where you actually know way more than the majority of people in this market. Hence, you'll find clients. You're not going to find them right away on day one. It's going to take a little bit of consistency, of course, but you will get them if you stick with this.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And with that, man, 7 clients in 2 months, like if people listening are probably like, that sounds crazy. First off, to just bring on 7 clients in 2 months is a lot. I probably felt overwhelming at times and your head spinning with all these new clients and making sure everybody's getting taken care of. But walk people through like how did you make that happen?
Well, I suppose like we use Upwork for
Mm-hmm.
outreach. That's our method. So, like in terms of how we made it happen, we definitely utilized that there was two of us. So
Mm-hmm.
we are both sending out a couple of proposals every single day on Upwork. And I think having the guidance from you guys to sort of say what proposal is worth applying for and what is not definitely helps.
Mhm.
And sort of learning I think learning the best method of outreach first is before you've even got the clients is smart, because we were trying before we were doing cold calling. And
Mhm.
when we were doing cold calling, we had so many calls booked. Like we must have
Mm.
booked a crazy. I remember saying to you how many calls I booked, and you were like,
Yeah.
That's crazy." And I was
Yeah.
like, because that's our experience. So we were always good at talking on the phone, but when we are getting these guys on the phone, we basically niched down. So we are trying to only go to the construction industry, and we were getting these guys on the phone. They were booking in for the calls, but then they weren't turning up because if anyone knows the construction industry, these guys are doing something different every single day. So it's kind of hard to pin them down. So we wasted a lot of time doing that. And then when we really settled on a new outreach system and said, right, we're going to use Upwork, that's when we started to get the joy. And then for them 2 months, it was kind of just like the momentum. It led us into the next one and the
Mhm.
next one and the next
Mhm.
one. And if you've ever done a sales call without Upwork and with Upwork, it's a completely different kettle of fish at all, because Upwork is very like an interview, and like most people have done a job interview. So it's not like there is elements of sales in it, but it's
Mhm.
definitely not as strong as like just cold calling someone,
Yeah.
pushing them to take a call and then trying to sell them. Whereas Upwork, people are already looking for someone to fill this role. So
Mhm.
it's very much just like it's like a it's nearly like another way of Indeed. Like it's
Mhm.
sort of the
Mhm.
same type
Yeah.
of vibe. Like you're applying for jobs, but you're doing it yourself instead of on a company basis, basically.
100%, man. 100%. Like, I think that's the best way for people to understand it. It's like, take Indeed in Ireland. Everybody probably knows it if they've gotten or applied to a job before. And it's just that, except this is for a bit of everything. This is for marketing. There's people doing web design on here. There's people doing email marketing, anything you can really think of. But again, most times it's businesses that are looking for you to just not be a full-time employee 40 hours a week. Like, that's not what they're looking for. The odd one is for sure, maybe, I don't know, 1 out of 10. Most of them are there saying, hey, look, we just need somebody to come and do this thing. If you're going to work and outsource and do and work with freelancers, that's fine. Like, we just want to pay 500 to maybe $1,000 a month and get this sorted, get our social media handles, easy peasy, you know. So, like you said, it's the sales process is it's a lot smoother. It's a lot simpler. You're closer to the sale when you're starting, which of course, yeah, makes sense as to why you guys could actually get that number of clients in 2 months. Because, you know, if you were doing cold calls, it would probably take a whole lot longer, as you would have seen, for
Yeah,
sure.
and I've that experience like from say at least 3 months. I think when we
Mm-hmm.
came to use, it would have been about September time, would not have been, and
Sounds right. Yeah.
About September time, and then we gave that business model 2 months. So I'm literally proof that like that's not the best way of going about it, I suppose.
For sure. I remember there was something at the event, Shaun, like you brought up the fact that, like, yeah, you guys had an idea as to the business you wanted to build. Like you said, cold calling, construction industry. So cold call them, book in a meeting, then try and sell them on that meeting, or do another meeting after that, right? And, you know, maybe sell like Facebook ads and different services to them as well. And I know, you know, the way you put it was, I can't remember exactly the words you used, but basically you said, hey, look, then you got to a point where you said, "Feck it, we'll do exactly what you guys say. We'll follow it
Yeah,
to a T." And it's what you did. Like, you literally just said, "Right, show me what to apply for. All right, here's what you should apply for. Here's what you shouldn't apply for." And then you did it. You actually took action on it. Right, guys, I've got this interview lined up. Give me some ideas, some prep for it. We'd give you some odd little hints and things to keep in mind when doing it. You'd go and do it. You'd smash it. Great. On to the next one. Momentum. Keep that ball rolling. And that's it, man. It sounds easy when we say it like that, but obviously for you guys, you still have to put in that work and make it happen. But you know, I think the key thing there is following a path that you know is going to work versus coming in with your own idea of what you want to do versus following the proven path.
yeah. Like there's no point trying to invent the wheel. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If there's a method that works, and there's literally hundreds of people that have used the same method and made money off it, there's no
Mm-hmm.
point in trying to do it, because it's hard enough to even be consistent, show up, go through
Yeah.
the bad clients, all of the stuff that even comes with doing well.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
still hard. Like, but like to then throw that into the mix with creating your whole new strategy, like it's a crazy way of going about it. But I suppose you live and you learn.
You live and you learn, man. This is it, 100%, 100%. And I guess then just so to give people that context, Sean, so like 7 clients in 2 months, again, that's a lot to bring on. So great, obviously, for the bank account. You guys probably looking at that, adding up, going, geez, this is really becoming something here. This is really substantial, something that could sustain us long term. And I know you guys are going to scale way past that as well. But just on the operation side, then of actually serving those clients, how did that feel? I know obviously we helped you guys in terms of kind of getting some people in place, specifically one of our designers, right, to just make the process easier so that you could hire him. He'd create some content for your clients, and it would just reduce the workload that you guys would have. But yeah, it'd be good for people to know kind of what does that look like, because it sounds really cool and great, 7 clients, but just the reality of the work that would go into that as well.
Yeah, so I suppose just to allude on the first thing you said there about
Mm-hmm.
us hiring the graphic designer. I think that's something that people don't realize is like when they see all this stuff online, is that like you can literally partner with someone else that is better than you. Say we had no graphic design experience,
Mm-hmm.
and just because you have no graphic design experience doesn't mean you can't start up a social media agency. Like
Yeah.
you provided us with some good contacts of people that were test and proven, and were good at what they do. And when you get in contact with these people and you sort of settle on a fee that they charge for their service,
Mm-hmm.
like once that is set in place, it does make things a lot easier. It does make things a lot
Mm-hmm.
easier because you see, you mentioned the 7 clients. So yeah, we did have 7 clients, but and we still do. But I'm not doing I'm not doing the 20 pieces of content for each client. Like
Yeah.
the designers do that. It's more of like a management role for anyone that's sort of unsure. So you're
Mm-hmm.
some people now, everyone sets up their agency different, right? And some
Mm-hmm.
people really love graphic design, some people really love video editing, and they have a passion for that, and that's what they'll do.
Mm-hmm.
But for our side of things, we didn't really have a passion for anything like that. But we enjoyed the sales aspect of it, and that was always our thing we enjoyed. So we using your guidance and having like the guys set up with the graphic design and video editor, we just focus
Mm-hmm.
on the outreach and the sales. And that's how we got the 7 clients, because we were just purely focused on getting more people in, and the graphic designers we had would manage the workload. So it's you're building a team basically. You're building a team. It might be it's a small team, but
Mm-hmm.
if you have the right guys with you and the quality of the work is good, you can. That's how you get to the 7 clients. It's not by just overloading yourself with loads of work.
Yeah, fact, 100%. And again, great reminder for people, man, of that's the reality. Like you're not sitting there doing everything for every one of those 7 clients. You've got a system now. You've got a bit of structure so that when that client comes in, a couple of things happen. People pick up the pieces, they put it together. Like you said, you're more just kind of facilitating that whole process, making it
Mm,
happen. And yeah, that's why, like as you would have seen, you can come in with no design experience. We have others come in with no sales experience that come in and get clients. And it's like, that's how it's possible, because you're connecting the dots with figuring out what you are good at, and the rest outsource, get it into the hands of somebody who's, like you said, better than you. That's the reality. It's not someone who's going to be worse than you. It's you're literally hiring someone that's better than you to take the standard up and actually serve your clients better. Like imagine you were learning graphic design yourself now, trying to serve those 7 clients. I'm sure the clients would probably left already, because they'd be
yeah.
like, what's this guy doing? Same as if a client hired me for video editing. Sure, they'd leave because I'm not the best video editor. I can piece it together and that's about it. And I think that's a disconnect a lot of people have, is I need to know everything. I need to be the master of social media. I need to be master of videos, master of sales. No, you just need to be good at a couple of key things, facilitate the process. That's how you can make it work.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true, because it can be a bit overwhelming, like when you think you
Mm-hmm.
have to do all these type of stuff and the different roles. Like one thing I've sort of learned from this sort of journey so far is that you need to leave your ego at the door. Like even if you feel you're
Yeah.
good at something, even if you feel you're good at something, or you feel like you're steering the ship correctly, like if someone can do something better than you, or someone has more experience than you or something, just like that's okay, like that's good,
Mm-hmm.
and just learn to act on that fast, because it makes you move quicker than just trying to solve all the problems that maybe you're not qualified to solve.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And Sean, this is more of a kind of a personal question, just so people can understand like the impact something like this has. Because I guess in your case, like you said, you left your job, then you kind of decided like I'm going to make this thing work, right? You've got it now to a point where like I would think the money side is pretty good for you guys. Like, as in, it's probably pretty comfortable, right? As in where things are now. I know you guys have big goals, so you're probably thinking, nope, we're gonna go way more, and we're gonna 3x, 10x what we currently have. But like, what has that done for you personally? Because I think when people see the money, they often go, oh yeah, cool, great, loads of money. But I think the more important thing is like, yeah, but what does that now allow you to do? What kind of life can you now live versus what you were doing maybe a year ago?
Yeah, well, like in truth, it's the freedom you have. I think everyone, no, being your own boss, I suppose, and having your own company isn't something that like everyone
Mm-hmm.
dreams to do, and
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't suit some people. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have aspirations to do it, then it's something that'll never go away. So to get to that spot then where eventually you're like, okay, I'm actually making money now, I'm making my own money, this is working out. It's the feeling is great. Like it's a good feeling. I would struggle with always wanting more though. Like that's one thing I struggle with
Mm-hmm.
personally. Like you say here like what's affecting your personal life, but
Mm-hmm.
for me the way my mind works is like I'm not even happy now. I
Yeah.
still think I'm not doing enough. I still think like I'm nowhere. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
just. I spoke to you that I said that to you when I was doing the event. It's like I shouldn't be talking
Yeah.
at this event, and then
Yeah.
after the event, people were saying, "I'm so happy that that was good. You related to it a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's probably a me thing. But I'll always just want more and more and more. So I probably do need to take a step back and just sort
Yeah.
of say, right, we're doing okay now. This is good, but if I'm being honest,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine that yet.
That's good. And I love that, man, because that's like being brutally honest with people. People need to hear that. Like, that's the reality. And look, most people in this game that you would have met at the event as well that were speaking and such, they're the same. They're looking at where they're at going, yeah, okay, it's decent, kind of happy with it, but like, I want more. They want to push for more, they want to push higher. And that's life. That is life. And that's a good thing. Because look, the alternative is you guys get too comfortable and then you slack off and it dwindles out. That's also a possibility. So that growth mindset is important. Keeps us going, man. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't have started. I wouldn't have scaled our agency to the level we did if I was going to be chilling when we hit 5K a month or 6K a month. Because you wouldn't go from 5K a month to 50K a month. It's not possible unless you really damn want it. You're going to really need to want it to put in the work, create the systems, hire the people, and do what you need to do to get there, man. But yeah, that's one of life's puzzles, eh?
Yeah, for sure. I suppose it's as you say, the 40 you go on your journey, I'm sure it
Mhm.
gets tedious to manage, but I feel like I'm still on the come up. So as I am, I just need to keep powering through
Yeah,
that sort of. And I don't even think it's a bad thing either. Like it
for
can be a
sure.
bad thing, but it's what gets you up out of bed in the morning. So that's good.
This is it, man. This is it. And I guess, man, for the person then, if they look, they're looking at getting started with something like this. Obviously, they know that you're a big believer in this business model. It's worked for you. You've made it work. More importantly, but just for that beginner, like, what's kind of the advice you wish you had when you were starting? Because you've obviously learned a lot on this journey.
But I suppose it's a good question. I would think it's basically to take action quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Because the quicker you do something, the quicker you can realize it either works or it doesn't, and then you can get past it. I think being too set in my ways and saying no, I have this thought and this has to work was a weakness of mine. Whereas like if I had realized much quicker that as soon as something's not working to move on to the next thing and keep going until I figure this out, I probably would have moved along a lot quicker. Like as I said, yeah, and like I was running an agency basically that was selling Google ads to construction
Mm-hmm.
workers, and I literally kept it going for 2 months, even though the signs were so clear that it just
Mm-hmm.
was not working. And I wasted a whole 2 months doing that, and then eventually said, right, let's stop. Like if I had have just realized and not ignored the science, I probably would have been further ahead than I am now. So again, the advice would just be to fail and fail quick, so
Mm-hmm.
eventually you can realize where you're meant to be.
Love it. Love it, man. Great, great lesson. And for people watching, if you want to reach out to Shaun or you might have some follow-up questions for him, I'll get Shaun to maybe just call out, his social media where you can kind of contact him because, yeah, he's a legend like that. I invited him to speak at our last event because I saw the results from him and James, his business partner. But more importantly, I saw their character. You know, I got to speak to them on calls. I got to chat to them pretty much every week, and I could see this is a fucking hard worker. This is a guy that's going to have a great story. So, yeah, if you're watching, hopefully you enjoyed, and you should definitely reach out to Shaun, follow along on his journey to see, what he's up to now over the next few months and years to come. So, Shaun, in terms of where people can find you, man, where's the best place?
Yeah, so Instagram is Shaun Stevens 98, and I've just started a TikTok account. I was just saying to Adam
Mm.
before the call, actually, I've just started a TikTok account. We're going to start grinding out the content over there. So it's Shawnee_markets on TikTok. And yeah, I'm definitely open. Anyone that reaches out and wants to have a chat and is unsure about anything at all, I'm definitely open to chat. That's no problem at all.
Amazing. Amazing, man. Well, Shaun, appreciate you taking the time with me, man. And again, for people watching, hopefully you got some value. Drop a like, give some feedback to Shaun as well. Comment below, message him, let him know if this was valuable because he's obviously after taking time out of his day to do this and spend the last kind of 20 or so minutes with us. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed. Shaun, appreciate it, man.
No problem.